main event of the evening. The second championship match for tonight. The Global Championship will be defended by Jordan Richard against Max Harlton, as it was set up post Jordan Richard's successful title defense at Adapt or Die. Of course, the stipulation for this match was that Max was only going to get his Global Championship match if he relinquished the Legacy title, and as we saw, he clearly did at the mysterious beginning of tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall, and it is for the Three Lions Wrestling Global Championship.
As I was saying, as you saw at the mysterious start of tonight, JR giving what was formerly Max Harlton's Legacy title back to Everett Constanelli. Strange and foreboding messages sent there. This night could be shrouded in mystery, and what Everett Constanelli meant by JR could be of some use to Everett Constanelli. But Max Harlton finally finding himself some success here in Three Lions after an extensive losing streak, Finally picking up his victory against what was possibly the match of the night at Adapt or Die against Kid Fish. And instantly laying down the challenge to JR for the Global Championship. But JR didn't think he deserved it, so his admittance fee was what was formerly his, the Legacy Championship, which is now firmly back in the hands of, surprisingly, Everett Constanelli, showing up on a Three Lions wrestling show. Here comes the boos showering in for our Global Championship, Mr. Seven Figures JR. And I'll make no qualms about it, I don't really like this man either. He is filled with arrogance. He is filled with cocky attitude. He is filled with dastardly, underhanded deeds. As he comes out here with his girlfriend, Jasmine. And look, as much as I say I don't like JR, we have to admit he is possibly one of the best champions in this business right now. He is nearly no one has defended as many times as JR has, and definitely not nearly as successfully as JR has. He has done a lot of hard work to make sure that this Global Championship is the most prestigious and the most coveted title in this business, and that is in fact kind of why it is the main event of tonight rather than what the World Championship was. He has made sure that the Global Championship is on level with our world title. And that is an impressive feat that almost no one can say they've done in this business. JR has cemented his legacy in this business, and it's only continuing to grow. Like a straight-up Seven Figures empire. You gotta wonder if that video that played at the beginning of the show is going to come to play in this match here tonight. As we still don't have answers to what Everett meant by his friend.
Introducing first, from Richmond, Virginia. He weighs in at 205 pounds. He is the voice of the Dreamer, Max Harlton. And his opponent, from Dallas, Texas. He weighed in tonight at 215 pounds. Introducing the reigning, defending, undisputed, Three Lions Wrestling Global Champion, Jordan Richard.
Well, you can firmly hear who the crowd is cheering to win this championship tonight. A lot is on the line for both men. This is Jordan Richards' whole legacy. The weight of this whole promotion lies on his shoulders, and this is a lot for Max Harlton to finally get himself back to where he was before he feuded with Everett Constanelli. Now here we go, both men ready for the long haul here tonight. Both men staring each other down. They're sizing each other up. This is a matchup we have not seen before. We go into the collar elbow tie up here on a big shoulder tackle. And another one with the wrist control here. And, oh, Irish whips him now. And, oh, Max Harlton slams in that elbow. But JR gets back up real quickly, taken off his feet, taken off guard. JR has to resize and reassess his strategy here against what I would say is probably the better wrestler of the two, Max Harlton, but there is a plethora of other advantages JR has against Max Harlton. They might cancel each other out, and we could see a very even matchup here. As we can see the lockups here, and a headlock turned into running the ropes now. A multitude of leapfrogs just playing mind games here with JR, and baseball slides underneath the legs, and oh, a big Hurricane Rana takes over JR. Oh, and JR went with aggression, only got caught into a Japanese arm drag and another Japanese arm drag. JR maybe not thinking about what he's doing right now, but Max Harlton definitely has a surefire strategy here. Bounces off the ropes with another arm drag. Crowd applauding Max Harlton's superior wrestling skill. Jasmine telling JR what he's been doing wrong. Oh, Max Harlton faked out the two with the suicide dive and made Jasmine scream, interrupting their little conversation there. Max Harlton so confident in his ability right now. He is playing games with JR right now. That is usually what JR does with his opponents. The roles are quite switched here. Max Harlton maybe studying his tapes with JR, with all of his matches with JR, but oh, JR underhanded blow there with a gut kick to Max Harlton. Now rebounds him off the ropes, but Jasmine distracts Max Harlton to the advantage of JR. JR brought out Jasmine here for a very strategic reason. He doesn't bring her out here very often, but it's clear that he brought her out here with the intention of getting the upper hand on Max Harlton, the easy underhanded upper hand. Now big neck breaker there. When he follows up, oh, just a straight stomp to the jaw of Max Harlton. Oh, and a forearm as well. Slow, methodical pace early on in this match, and oh, a swing neck breaker. So many ways for JR to use types of neck breakers in his match. That is a lot of his grappling offense. He likes to use that neck breaker. He likes to target the neck. That is the central area of where a lot of your nerves go to. If you cut off where those nerves go, it will be hard to feeling in your arms and legs. It'll be much harder to wrestle if your neck has any significant damage. And JR knows that. That is what JR is going for here as well with the chin hold. Max Harlton tried to get out of it there, but JR just wrenching it even tighter. As you can see there, KT tape on the shoulder of JR. That shoulder has been injured for quite a long time. He has been wrestling through injury. That is a target that Max Harlton could be going for later on in this match. But Max Harlton elbows his way out of the chin hold on a big European uppercut. But JR slams in that gut kick again. Now multiple knee strikes and one to the face. Stumbles Max Harlton there. Unprotected knee strike straight to the nose of Max Harlton. Referee checking to see if he's okay to continue. And another knee strike straight to the face. Now look at this cravat neck breaker. Goes into the cover. Had the cross face on there for the cover. Kind of a lackadaisical pin by Jordan Richard. Elbow backs him into the corner now. Hammering in even more. Back elbows to the side of the head. And he falls up with a forearm scraping across the face. Dirty tactics here by JR. Just stomping him in the corner. Just stomping a straight mud hole in him. This is how JR assumes his dominance in the match. Just so many cocky and underhanded maneuvers. Closed fists to the side of the head. JR clearly doesn't care for the well-being of his opponent in this match. Oh boy, the crowd is pulling no punches against JR tonight. They are having none of his shit. But Max Harlton able to power his way out of that suplex position. He turns it into a crucifix roll-up. But JR is able to kick out from that surprise roll-up. And now, oh, look at this. Turns it into a crossface, kind of a version of Orion's belt. Shades of one of Max Harlton's signature rivals, Orion James. As he's got the crossface locked in here, but JR rolling out of it. And now, oh, big gut punch there. Now just wrenching at the face again. Going after that nose that he might have injured from that knee strike earlier. Stomping it into the mat. JR targeting that nose, and if you break that nose, it's much, much harder to see in a wrestling match. And oh, just slams his nose against the upper rope. And those ropes are not soft, ladies and gentlemen. That is very hard and a face buster. If he breaks that nose of Max Harlton, it'll be very hard for Max to see because your eyes start to water. A kick out there by Max Harlton. And if you can't see because the tears in your eyes, it'll be nearly impossible to wrestle. JR, oh, just slamming Max against the mat. Oh, jeez. Crude maneuvers by JR, nothing fancy here. And oh my God, headbutts by JR. Something we never see JR do. But he's clearly got Max Harlton rocks here. Because Max isn't able to defend himself right now. He just keeps kicking him across the face. JR knows exactly what he's doing. He could be also trying to provoke Max Harlton here. And oh my God! What a DDT! And that's all it took for Max Harlton to get the momentum back in his corner. Just one powerful DDT to the head of JR. Now look at this, he's got him in powerbomb position. Hammers his way out of it though, and oh, went for a forearm there, but Max Harlton, he's fired up now. Going for that shoulder, and it's clearly bothered JR there. Multitude of elbows, but JR went for the waist lock there. Max Harlton able to arm drag his way out of it. Irish whip now, but JR able to reverse it. Puts him into the corner, and oh! And oh my God, what an enziguri wrapped it around his head. Now look at this. Oh! Leg trapped back suplex. Dropped him on the back of his neck. But JR kicks out. Max Harlton nearly had the Global Championship in the grasp of his hands. Now Max Harlton going up to the top rope. Oh, but Max may be feeling the effects of all of the crude offense Jordan Richard has had against him. Max Harlton has a plethora of top rope maneuvers he could be going for. He could even be looking for the maximum risk. But that's a little canceled out right now because JR has gotten back onto his feet. And oh my god! Oh jeez! What a scary fall there. Max Harlton took way too long to get onto the top rope. But JR had it scouted and just did a very, very dangerous thing to Max Harlton. Drop kicked him off the top rope and onto the mat outside. A dangerous tumble there. One of the medics is checking on Max Harlton, be able to see if he's still able to continue. But oh, look at that. Max Harlton just pushed off the medic, and oh my god, JR saw it all happen, and he took advantage of it with a suicide dive. We didn't even see him run. He just went for it. He's got Max Harlton, rocks Max in the underdog position here. Oh, signature hammerlock DDT. He goes for the pin, but Max Harlton kicks out. JR shocked that he didn't get the victory there. And now just look at this. JR knows exactly what to do next, and that's just hammer in all the fists you can. Oh, and all the knee strikes, too. Oh, my God, he's not stopping either. The crowd not happy with this violent display we are seeing from Jordan Richard. Maybe a newfound aggressiveness.
Why won't you just die, Maxwell?
Oh, my God.
This is it for you, bitch.
JR, never short of any trash-talking lines, but did you just hear me just asked why won't you die? But Max Harlton got him in the fireman's carry position. JR hammers his way out. Oh, went for the thrust kick, but he caught it. Now he turns him around. Oh, back suplex takes both men down. But it's obvious Max Harlton has taken way more of the offense and the damage. But Harlton finding this insane second wind. A kip up. Max Harlton is hyped. A big clothesline takes him down in another. And another one takes him down. JR props himself into the corner. And oh, big splash by Max Harlton into the corner. Using his body like a weapon. Now, straightjacket position into the power bomb. Oh my God, running sit-out power bomb. He goes for the cover, but Max Harlton doesn't get the victory there. This has been a very, very physical matchup here. A very violent and intense one. But Max Harlton, with his second win, has found himself in the position of power. Oh, look at this. He could be looking for Dreamer's Echo, but JR got him out of it. He's got him in powerbomb position, carrying him over. Maybe looking for that signature buckle bomb super kick, but Max Harlton knows it's coming. He gets him out of it, and oh my God! Hurricane Rana's him into the middle rope, into the middle turnbuckle, head first. JR might be out cold, and now Max Harlton going up to the top. He could be looking for maximum risk, but oh, Jasmine distracting Max Harlton, making sure that he's not able to seal the deal against JR. Fending for her man. Max Harlton gets back up, and oh my God, he's just met with a straight jumping knee strike directly to the face, and oh, gift to Jasmine! He goes for the cover, And that is it. The distraction by Jasmine and the gift to Jasmine seals the deal. JR retains his championship. And the crowd is not happy about it.
And the winner of the match, and still reigning global champion,
Jordan Richard continues to cement his legacy here in Three Lions. Now we can look at all these brutal maneuvers Max Harlton hit on JR. Clearly JR is feeling the effects of it post this match, but Max Harlton was not short of receiving a lot of offense here from JR. Look at that replay, another angle of that surprise suicide dive, and a hammerlock DDT almost sealed the deal against Max Harlton, but Max Harlton's heart did not allow it to happen. That big power bomb almost sealed the deal for Max Harlton, but JR wanting to keep his legacy, but the gift to Jasmine, ironically after a distraction by Jasmine, made JR retain his coveted global championship. Now JR, he's got some words post his victory.
Natsville, you gave me the most difficult fight since I've been global champion. I must admit, well now, for me it's time to take this belt home and face Terry Atkins. Me facing Terry Atkins will be my 11th title offense. Like damn, it's been a great run. And nobody can stop me, but enough about me. And on to you, Maxwell. Shit. I know I said, if you lose to me, your time here in Three Lions is all over. But I must admit, what you've done in this small amount of time, you deserve to be here. Long story short, just know, you've earned my respect. And from the crowd's reaction, they love you here. And you're welcome here in Three Lions anytime.
Wow, what a surprising show of sportsmanship by Mr. Seven Figures. Max Harlton is allowed in Three Lions whenever he wants. That is a surprising show of politeness by JR. Wow. Maybe a change of heart we're seeing here by our global champion. What a shocking night tonight. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have been your solo commentator forever and... Oh, wait a minute. That's Constanelli. What is he pointing at? Oh my God! It's TJ Stark! I thought he was dead! So this is what Constanelli meant by his friend. Oh, this could be a start of a dangerous force here in Three Lions.